I start every song, at least of my own, well, 95% of them I start by finding a first line. It's all about the first line. You know, I try not to do stuff like, okay, I've got this sick chorus, I'm gonna write a song around it. No, first line. I have to have a line that grabs you. I just think that it needs somebody to actually try and break it, as opposed to conform at the last leg of the race. You know what I mean? I can't see myself conforming. I think that artists are not natural businessmen, you know, and we have to be taught through experience and harsh lessons, you know, like the reality of the business. You do have to learn those lessons though. Most artists never get to a stage where they're even in a position to be recording a first album, you know. Those of us who actually get there, the game changes. You know what I'm saying? It's a different game. You're not playing with the, you know, you're not playing with the amateurs anymore. You're playing with the professionals, and the professionals have to go through this, and this.
And it's a good afternoon. It's my part, Nigerian brother, El Marshall.
You Niger boy?
Bawani.
This guy. Yeah. I don't speak Yoruba though. Like I'm not gonna lie.
Don't stunt though, because them show me you use pidgin in some of your.
Yeah, but pidgin is pidgin. Yoruba is a different thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what's funny about Castles. I was listening to, I was thinking like, El puts pidgin in his music. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is that I was just. I mean, from the start, you know, like Nigeria showed me a lot of love, and just because I rep, you know, like I rep them, they rep me back, you know, and it was just one of those things where obviously, I mean, sonically, I like the way it sounds, and I think that it adds a certain flavor that's a bit different as well, but at the same time, more than anything, I just wanted to give a shout out, you know, and like I'm on YouTube looking at the comments and stuff, and you got people arguing about it, like that's Nigerian pidgin English, and I'm just there like, yes, you know, like recognize.
You're a wealthy character. You've lived in different countries.
Yeah.
That must help you artistically.
I mean,
experience, draw from different experiences.
Yeah, it does, you know, because it shaped my character, and I'm an artist that writes from experience, you know, from life. So anything that I've gone through is going to influence my music. Sonically, I think I couldn't say that it taught me too much, but what it did do is open me up to a lot of other things, you know, like I might be listening to a hip hop beat, and just because I've been opened up to various different cultures and then different styles of music, I might draw my inspiration for my melodies from something African, you know, as opposed to something Western, even though it's a Western sounding song, you know, but you just kind of start figuring out that you can actually merge all of these genres. If it sounds good, it sounds good.
I want to talk about, obviously, Castles. We were just about off mic. How does someone actually start a lyric? How do you start a song like that? Because the way it's out is like, it's so, I won't say spaced out, but it's like you would never really expect the first two lines of a song to be attacked like that.
I mean, you know what, like, I disagree. I think that, okay, actually no, not that you would expect it, right? But you do hear it a lot, just not here, right? You know? You hear it in the States all the time, you know, like, that you don't actually have to put too much thought into it. Like if I'm trying to start a song off, I start every song, at least of my own, well, 95% of them I start by finding a first line. It's all about the first line. You know, I try not to do stuff like, okay, I've got this sick chorus, I'm gonna write a song around it. No, first line. I have to have a line that grabs you. And if I got that, then I'll do a second line, then a third, and then I get to the chorus. And I approach it like, if I get my first line, now my second line has to either complement it or top it. The third line has to either complement it or top it. So by the time I get to the chorus, all I'm doing is I'm trying to top what I just did. You know what I'm saying? Which helps the build and whatnot. But for Castles, it was really just, I don't know, I just thought it sounded cool. You know what I mean? I kind of like the idea of painting a picture with your words, and I think that the first two lines in that song, it says a lot about the guy who's about to start singing without saying anything at all. You know what I mean? But on some deeper subliminal level, I personally think that it helps people connect straight away.
I'll pick up on that point. You're right. We don't hear that.
Yeah, but you feel
Over
it.
here, yeah. Over here, it must be a bit of a struggle because you're a creative being, that much is obvious, but you're trying to break something that may not necessarily be broken. You know.
Yeah.
How is it for you? How is it for you just having the constant struggle? Because I know it must be a struggle.
I mean, it's frustrating sometimes, you know, because what I see is a constant disconnect. You know, you've got any business, right? You should have the product, then you should have the marketing, and ultimately you have the consumer, you know. And we've got all of those things. And what I see is that with a lot of artists is that you have where the artist starts off from. You have what the consumer is either used to hearing, wants to hear, or will tolerate hearing, you know, and in the middle you got the marketing. And what I find is that a lot of things, if they go directly to the consumer, they love it. But once you go through the marketing, things get overthought, you know, and it gets watered down. And I actually feel that the people out here in the UK are crying out for something real, you know. I mean, like, I've got so much love for my peers, you know, like other artists, rappers, singers. I don't care, you know. I mean, the urban scene out here, not that I'm necessarily an urban artist, but coming from that, the urban scene out here, it's had its bumps and it's still developing, and there's a lot of talent there, but I feel like it's constantly watered down just because the people who are in control sometimes don't understand what the people who are actually going to buy into it want. At the end of the day, Frank Ocean does a mixtape. Everybody out here had that. I had that. I know you had that. Do you know what I mean? It's not just people in the industry. We love that kind of stuff, you know? But for whatever reason, it's looked at differently when it comes from here. When it comes from outside of here, people love it all the same, you know? So it's almost like the main frustration comes from realizing that, because if I'm listening to the radio, I don't hear where the artist is from. All I hear is a song. I don't care where they're from, you know, that they could be speaking English as a second language, do you know what I mean? But the song is a song. And so I'm listening to the radio and I hear certain types of songs. It stands to reason that you should simply be able to make music, and if it fits into what's already being played, then it works, but that's not the case. You kind of have to be very clever about how you make it so that once people get the full story and they realize you're homegrown, they still treat you the same, you know. I mean, it's complicated, but having said all of that, you know, nothing worth having comes easy. You say it might not be ready to be broken. I think it is. I just think that it needs somebody to actually try and break it, as opposed to conform at the last leg of the race. You know what I mean? I can't see myself conforming.
Are you, in effect, potentially setting yourself up as the sacrificial lamb?
Hell no. You know, like, early bird gets the worm, man.
Right, that's the way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to sacrifice myself. Like, at the end of the day, you know, we're all in this for ourselves and our people. So, like, I would love to be that guy that opens up the doors, you know, but I'm still trying to collect my gate fee.
That's me. So you must. How do your peers? Because I think one thing that we don't really get from artists, how do your peers feel about, you know, everyone seems to still be knocking on the door? Because I think music for you must be a career. You want to do 1 album, 2 albums, 3 albums. Of course. You want to do it on a global scale.
Of course.
And some people aren't getting beyond first video, second video. They're made to wait a year. What does that do to an artist creatively when you're in that space?
You know, like, it's detrimental, you know, because I think that artists are not natural businessmen, you know, and we have to be taught through experience and harsh lessons, you know, like the reality of the business. You do have to learn those lessons, though. You know, we all have to be businessmen. But really what we want is just to, you know, do what we do, right, and be appreciated for it. When things start dragging out, when, you know, you're faced with dilemmas that it's not even that you can't understand them, it's that a second ago you would have never had them. It's like, why are we arguing about that? You know, it takes a while before you get used to it, but ultimately it's just a part of growth. You know, the thing is, most artists never get to a stage where they're even in a position to be recording a first album. You know, those of us who actually get there, the game changes. You know what I'm saying? It's a different game. You're not playing with the, you're not playing with the amateurs anymore. You're playing with the professionals, and the professionals have to go through this, and this. So you either rise to the occasion or you falter. You know, but the way I see it, it's like you can't be scared of the unknown. You know, God willing, my album comes out, everything blows up. At that point, once I'm on that platform, I'm going to be faced with struggles that I've never been faced with yet, because it's going to constantly change. The higher you climb, the more different your issues become. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's to be expected, and I can't hate. I can't hate.